Hello there, everyone. Hello, 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 and welcome to Crafty Thursday with Pickled Peppers Creative Cafe with Dara, that's me, Walter, at pickledpepperscreative.com. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Crafty Thursday. How are you? Happy Friday Eve. It's the day before the biggest holiday of the week, and I hope that you are having a fantastic week. Hello, hello, hello. Today is Thursday, March 23rd, and if in case you didn't know, Thursday is the day that I like to bring a crafty project or two, or sometimes, it depends, sometimes even three, but I like to bring crafty projects to you, and today is that day, so super excited. Hope you're super excited to be here. Welcome. How are you? If you are watching me live, be sure to say hello. I like to chat with you while we're creating. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to let me know that as well. I'd love to hear it. I'm going to just chat for a minute or two here, and actually we'll probably go ahead and get turned down. I'll chat for a moment or two with you, and we'll get started on tonight's project. Tonight's project is more actually about technique. So we're going to do a technique, but I am going to show you some cute product as well. You know, we have to have cute products. I'm going to show you some cute product as well, and a cute and simple quick project. So we probably won't be on a whole great deal of time tonight, but we will have fun in that time, and we'll show you something super simple that you can recreate. So let's go ahead and turn down. I'll chat for just a second more here, and then we'll get started. Okay, one moment. Bear with me. Here we go. All right. Let's see. Let's get straightened up here. Kind of hard to tell where we're at. This is the most fun part, arranging. Oh, here we go. There, I think that's pretty good. All right, so a couple of things. Tonight we are going to be using the outgoing in colors, and I have talked to you guys a little bit about color because we have new in colors coming, old in colors leaving, and we are doing a color refresh. And what that means is that some of our core colors will be going away and we will be getting some new ones. As a matter of fact, I'm holding a contest, and I'm gonna actually for whoever enters the contest, I'll do a drawing and give away a free fun creative prize. But the contest is just to guess which core colors you think are leaving, and what color or color family, or what color in a color family that you think might be coming back. For example, red. And then if you really are advantageous, even tell me what you think it might be called. So anyway, these are our core colors. So leaving us is the polished pink, pale papaya, evening evergreen, soft succulent, and fresh freesia. And actually, some of the in colors actually may be brought back as core colors. Stampin' Up! Has a history of that. We have done that before, and that might occur this time. In fact, I'm really hoping that the evening evergreen and the soft succulent stay around. So with that, I would like to admonish you also, if you love those colors and the jewels that go along with it, they're on page 142 in the annual catalog. You might want to go ahead and grab them because probably they will sell out. All right, so let's talk about the product that we're going to be using, a very cute stamp set that we're going to be using. Oh, actually, I think it's on page 41. Let us take a look. Yes. So the stamp set we're going to be using tonight is on page 41. It is called Simply Fabulous. It's this stamp set here. We actually used it last week in my bingo class, so lots of little goodies going on there. I think I forgot to flip the camera around too, so let's see if I can do that while we are turned down. I think we can. There we go. Okay, can you see that now? So we used this stamp set in our bingo class last week. Lots of little goodies in here, and it is actually perfect for masking for the technique that we're going to be doing tonight. So let's go ahead and get started, but I did want to show you that. And then just tell you that we're going to be using those in colors that I showed you, and we're going to be doing the masking technique, which is super, super fun. All right. So here is the stamp set. By the way, did you get a chance to look at last week's Facebook Live? We had a fun fold last week that was super cute, I think. I have been in the spring mood. I think we've had the first day of spring already. So I've really been in the spring mood. And so this was last week's Facebook Live. It's a fun fold. Isn't this cute? If you didn't get the chance to see it, why don't you go ahead and scroll back up the timeline on the Pickled Peppers Creative Cafe page, and you'll see the video for how to make this and recreate it. It's super, super cute and fun. Okay, so tonight again, we're using the Simply Fabulous stamp set. We are going to be doing a masking technique. There are several ways to do masking. This one is super simple, so it doesn't require any cutting out. If you're familiar, if you are an experienced stamper, then you know some masking can include stamping an image, fussy cutting around it. We're not doing any of that. We're actually doing some simple masking. And so we have the stamp set there. I'm also going to be using the 3 twine combo pack. It has 3 different color twines in it. We're going to be using the rhinestone basic jewels. And then we're going to be using those in colors that we talked about. I usually don't use a whole lot of ink colors, but we're going to be using that. The Fresh Freesia, the Pale Papaya, Soft Succulent, Polished Pink, and the Evening Evergreen. And then we are going to be using the Black Memento too. We're going to use that for our sentiment. All right, so let's get started, shall we? I have here a piece of basic white cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 5. So we're going to be stamping on this. I have a piece of polished pink cardstock. It is 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to be using that. We have a thick basic white card base. So we're going to be using that. And then I am also using the medium daisy punch, and I have a few daisies that I've punched here, both in the Pale Papaya and the Polished Pink. And then I have some 1/2 inch, if you have a 1/2 inch circle punch. I just punched a few out for the center using the Evening Evergreen. All right, so the final thing that I have here is a 1.5, let me double check that, 1.5 inch piece of copy paper. I've cut it in a strip, and the strip is actually going to be longer than the surface that we're going to be stamping on, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put our polished pink base and also our card base, our polished pink matte and our thick basic white card base. We're going to set those aside while we are doing our stamping. And I am going to find a scrap piece of grid paper. Did I ever tell you that when I cover my surface with grid paper, once it gets messy, I cut it down into 4 pieces so that I have scraps to work on? Let's see, I want to find one that's not too super messy. There we go. All right, so we're going to just put this on to cover our surface. I actually have one on my here that I'm using as a mouse pad. We could have used that one. All right, so the reason that you might want to use grid paper is because we're going to eyeball it, but we are going to tape this piece of copy paper right to the center of our basic white mat. Okay, and we do want it as straight as we can make it. So we're going to kind of use just the top line. We're going to line up the top piece of our mat to one of those lines, just so that we know we have it straight. And then we'll do the same thing roughly with the copy paper. And it doesn't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly straight, meaning that you don't have to measure it. If you are good with eyeballing and using the lines on the grid paper as kind of a guide, I'm not even lining up to the line, actually, I don't think. All right, right in the center there, and you're going to need some tape. I forgot to get that out, so let's grab a little bit of, getting my adhesive drawer there, and we're just going to use some cellophane tape. I'm going to tape this down on both sides, this being the copy paper. All right, so we're going to put a piece here and then on the other side, because I don't want that to move. I'm going to hang on to it as well, but I want to kind of keep it in place. You could use washi tape if you have washi tape, or I'm going to show you an alternative card that I made using the same technique. You can actually just hold on to it with your fingers if you want to as well. All right, so I have gone ahead and mounted some of the green stems here, and then I think I did this flower, and then we're going to use this tiny little flower. So let's get started with some stamping. I'm going to start stamping with the darkest color first, and then we'll fill in a little bit with some lighter colors. And the first stamp I'm going to use is this leafy sprig, and we're going to use the darkest color that we have. We have 2 different greens, so those are the 2 that I'm using for the sprigs. I'm going to be using the soft succulent and the evening evergreen. So we're going to start with the darker of the 2, and just randomly I'm going to stamp right over this copy paper mat and simultaneously in the open area. So let me go ahead and tap up a little bit here. And I'll stamp the sprig down. Now, these stamps are clear and see-through, so they are the photopolymer. Technically, I should be using some cushion underneath, but I didn't do it. I've been a little hasty, and it's actually, my Stampin' Pierce mat is sitting right here next to me, so I could. And then notice that I'm just kind of turning direction a little bit. So I want this to look kind of random. I don't want 3 stalks or sprigs all in a row. I want them to look willy-nilly like they would in nature. So I'm going to move this one down a little bit so that we're getting just the top of it. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to do the bottom section as well. Hi, Anna. I see that Anna's watching. Hello, hello. How are you? Are you having a good Thursday? I hope you are. I hope you're having a fantastic week all together. Okay, we're going to stamp here. So we're doing the bottom section, and then I think one more. I'm not going to put 3 on the bottom. I'm going to put 2. And let's see. Bring it in just a little bit and stamp. So remember, if you're using photopolymer stamps, you would want to use a Stampin' Pierce mat or something. I'll show you. It didn't connect here the best, and that's because I don't have any cushion. So don't be me. Be me, but don't be me. All right, so let's go ahead and cover our evening evergreen. This is a fun technique, and you can do it with many shapes. It doesn't have to be a piece that you cut out, but it's super simple, and this is one of the most simple ways that I know how to do. All right, so now we're coming in with a little bit lighter color. We're going to use our soft succulent, and let me show you. There's another sprig there that we're going to use, and I'm using this one because you can put flowers. You see those 3 little notches? They're designed for flowers. In fact, these little hearts can go on there, but instead I'm going to use this little flower, although these are nice to use. So we're going to stamp that sprig, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put a couple of them randomly in between the darker sprigs that we used. And I'm trying to stamp really hard because I should have some cushion under there. And it's one of the reasons that I'm using copy paper instead of cardstock, because the cardstock is a little bit thicker. So we have an increased chance, if we used cardstock, of not making the best impression. All right, let's go ahead and I'll put one here, and then maybe one more. Maybe we can fit one on the side here. I'm gonna go right off and maybe just catch just a little bit of it. All right, we'll set this one aside. Now I'm gonna go ahead and stamp the flowers on those little, the 3 little tops of that sprig that we talked about. And I have that little flower that I just showed you. We're going to use the pale papaya. I am a messy ink person. My fingers are like magnets to open stamp pads, and I am certain that I'd get my fingers caught in them. So I'm going to close it up. As you can see, those are my nails that got in the ink pad. All right, so moving along in the same fashion, I'm just going to quickly ink up with the pale papaya and stamp right on the top of those little sprigs. And this one's going to overlap a little bit, but that is perfectly fine. We'll turn this upside down, and we're going to do it on the other side. And it goes really quickly. You see how fast this is going? Really quickly. I mean, you could make this card in about 10 minutes. And the most fantastic part about it is you don't need a lot. Notice that we don't have designer series paper. We have stamps and inks. All right, the final thing we're going to do, I want to put all of those in colors there. I'm going to move this. I slid it up just a little bit. So the nice thing about it is that if it shifts a little bit, because there's only tape on the outsides, right? If it shifts a little bit, you kind of know where it's supposed to be lined up at, and you can just slide it back into place. Okay, so we're going to do 2 final things. Let's close this, but I want to use all of those in color. So we're going to use the Fresh Freesia and the polished pink. So let's do the polished pink next. And we're going to use that flower and just kind of randomly stamp that flower, that posy, in polished pink in a few places. It's super cute. And I'm going to do it on this side too. I kind of don't want to, let's put 2 on that side and 1 on this one. I don't want it to be symmetrical. I want it to look random. All right, and the last thing we're going to do is bring in that fresh freesia. And let me show you which stamp we're going to be using. This is a really, really cute stamp set. I like it a lot. I like all the little yummies. It means that you can make this look different with the same stamp set, because like, look at that tulip with the little sprays. Isn't that cute? There's lots of little pieces to that, not to mention the sentiments, just saying hello. There's beauty in everything. I love the 2 larger ones. So let's get into frame here. And then smaller ones too, if you wanted just to do a little pop of a sentiment there. And then the inside sentiments, really nice. I like this stamp set a lot. Oh, and then we're using this leaf trio, and I'm going to use that with the fresh freesia, and I'm just going to put a couple probably next to that polished pink. Maybe it makes a little sense to put it there. I'll put this one in the same direction. So remember to turn your stamp though, so that you get that random look. You don't want everything going in the same direction. So I'm going to fill this space. You see this space that I have kind of open? I'm going to turn the stamp to the side and kind of stamp right into that spot. And then we'll turn it up and down, maybe this way. And then the last one we will put in this direction. Might overlap that pale papaya just a little bit. Perfect. All right. Are you guys ready to see what we have? Let's slide this right out and see what we have here. This is such a cool technique. Masking, because we've masked off a part or a portion of the cardstock that we're stamping on. And here's what we have left. Isn't that fantastic? I don't know, it's scrumptious looking, and it is all ink and paper. Thank you. Thank you so much for the hearts and the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Isn't that the coolest ever? So it looks like we bought this paper like this, but we didn't. So really, really cool technique. The next thing that we're going to do is stamp our sentiment right in this open spot. So we've created a banner just by masking off without actually having to cut something and put it on top. So I think we're going to, oh yeah, I've already gotten it here. We're going to use that just saying hello. It's meaty. And if you know me, you know that I really like stamps that take up what I call a lot of real estate. And this one does. So we're going to stamp our sentiment using black memento. I'm going to stamp it towards you. So you guys, wish me luck. I'm going to stamp this upside down, and I hope that I do a good job. In fact, let me move it towards me a little bit. Keep your fingers crossed for me. We're going to put it here towards the side. And I'm going to go up slightly because we're going to put some jewels below the sentiment. All right, fingers crossed, you guys. Yay. Is that impressive or no? I think that looks pretty darn good. Doesn't that stamp beautifully? Thank you. Thank you so much for the hearts. I think it stamps just beautifully. I love it. All right, now we just need a little bit of finishing work. Isn't that so cool? All of this yummy in one stamp set. So we're going to go ahead and bring in, we're going to tie our ribbon on, and we're going to put some gems on. So we're going to use both of them. Let's grab our, take your pick tool. And then I think one of my favorite things to do is put a large gem in the middle. So I'm going to put a large one right in the center, and then a smaller one. We'll go ahead with the smallest on either side. Sometimes I like to go, especially when they're graduating sizes of the gems, I like to start like, oh, the three little bears, like Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. But this time we're going to put the two small ones on the side and the larger one in the center. And I think that is perfect. I don't think we need anything else in terms of embellishments. And then the last thing, let's find, oh, here we go. The last thing we're going to do is bring in the twine. Now about this twine, the three colors that are here are Coastal Cabana. Let's see, it'll tell us. Garden Green and Pumpkin Pie. That Pumpkin Pie looks a little bit light for Pumpkin Pie, but I think that the Garden Green in this instance is, I don't know what to call it, maybe kind of rustic enough that I can get away with it next to the soft succulent. And this is nice. You get all three colors in one pack. So it is called the 3 twine combo pack. And we're going to tie it around this side of this mat that we stamped a couple of times. So we're going to wrap it around twice, and you can put the bow wherever you want to, or you could tie a knot even if you wanted to. I'm going to tie a bow, and I'm going to put it on the bottom because remember at the beginning I showed you the medium daisy that I punched out. I punched a couple, or actually a few of them, some using the pale papaya and some using the polished pink because I wasn't sure which I wanted to use. And this bow seems like it's going to be kind of loose. Oh no, it's not. Look at me go. Fantastic. Yay me. All right. Just kind of arrange the bows to be as big or small as I want them. Oh boy. I tightened that right up. I might have to loosen that. I tugged on it a little tight, and you see what it did to the mat there? Curled it up. I don't want that to happen. So, there we go. Let's flatten it down some. All right, now let's tie the ends. Boy, I ate my Wheaties this morning. I think I'm really strong today. All right, so then let's go ahead and snip off the ends here. Kind of cut them both the same length. Yeah, I think that this ribbon, so did I say it was Garden Green? I think it's Garden Green. It is indeed Garden Green. But I also think that it is close enough with all of those greens that we can get away with it. And it's nice. Twine is a nice alternative to ribbon, don't you think? This, I think, is scrumptious, you guys. So this is what we have. Let's go ahead and grab some adhesive. I'll bring in my Stampin' Seal, and then we have our card base. We'll bring in the bone folder to give that a nice fold. And then remember we had that, the polished pink mat. So let's start by matting these two pieces together. Oh, our flower. We have to decide where to put that flower. Have you guys seen the medium daisy punch? We used to have two punches. We had a large daisy punch and the medium daisy punch. I used them all the time, and they're very springy. And so the large one went away, but we did at least keep the medium daisy punch. So I was super, super happy about that. So I'm going to use it because we have all of these flowers. This is a very spring looking card, don't you think? It reminds me of Easter baskets and flower boxes. There we go. Scrumptious. I love it. All right, and then we'll put this on our card base. We'll add our flower, and then we're done. That is my share for you tonight. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to put this right on the front of the card. Not so sure I folded it the greatest. So I'm going to shift it over a little bit, one of my tricks, and hold on tight to it, and then just run the bone folder across the crease again. All right, let's give it a little bit of adhesive. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Wasn't rolling all that great at first. Okay, and then we'll adhere this right to the center of our card. Oh my gosh, isn't this beautiful? Would you like to get this in the mail? I would love to get this in the mail. Isn't it pretty? Yes, I would love to get this in the mail. Thank you, Anna. I think it's super, super cute. Okay, let's bring in our, I think that, what if we use 2 of them? We could, couldn't we? We could put one on either side and pop them up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Let's do that. That looks fun. And we don't have a 1/2 inch. I'm pretty sure this is a 1/2 inch circle punch. Oh, by the way, did you see that a couple of our circle punches came back? They're in the online exclusives. I think it's like the 2-inch circle punch and maybe the 1 3/4 inch. They're on back order right now, but they will be back in the online store. Super excited about that. All right, I'm going to use just a little dollop of the multi-purpose liquid glue right in the center. So anyways, yeah, all of my circle punches I have held on to, and I use them all the time. And this one is no different because it fits right in the center of that daisy. And as long as we have this little daisy punch, I will continue to do that because I love it. Oh, isn't that fantastic? Yes. All right, let's bring in some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I think I'm going to kind of put both of these above that ribbon, but kind of staggered over that twine, and I think we're done. Yeah, okay, let's bring in the Take Your Pick tool. That way I can pick these up easily. These are the regular size dimensionals. We have mini dimensionals too, but I'm going to use this large size one. And we could get away with the smaller one. I'm sure we could. Peel the backing right off and we'll decide where we'll put these, and then our card is complete. You could stamp your sentiment on the inside of the card too, but I like to do that later so that I can change the sentiment if I want to. Okay, we have to be careful not to go over the edge of the card. There we go. Oh yes, this is such a happy card. There we go. Isn't that so pretty? I love it. And you know, the other sentiment would fit. The other sentiment would fit in there too. So it says there's beauty in everything. That would work in that spot too. So remember I said you could do it with any shape. I just want to show you that also earlier I was playing with it. And can you see the circle shape? So what I did was took my layering circle dies. I think that this is the second to the largest straight edge die of the layering circle dies. Can you see what I've done there? And I placed it in the center, and instead of going side to side, I just went around in the same fashion and then removed that mask and sentiment in the center. You could do it with a square, you could do it with any shape, and you could actually stamp your sentiment first if you wanted to, and then punch or die cut your shape so that you know it will cover the sentiment that you've chosen, and then mask around it or stamp around it. All right, so that's my share for you tonight. It's technique driven. We did some masking. We used the very super cute Simply Fabulous, and it is exactly that, Simply Fabulous stamp set. We used some twine, the 3 twine combo pack that has the Coastal Cabana Pumpkin Pie and Garden Green. We use the outgoing in colors. You guys, don't forget that these are leaving, so if you need any of these stamp pads, if you're in love with them, the Evening Evergreen, Fresh Freesia, Pale Papaya, Polished Pink, and Soft Succulent, or the re-inkers, the cardstock, or the little gems that we saw. Don't forget that. And then don't forget that we have the contest going on, you guys. If you want free stuff and a chance to win, just comment. Take a wild stab at it. Use your catalog to take a stab at which colors you think are going away and what you think might be staying. And yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and say good night. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for allowing me into your space for this Thursday, this Crafty Thursday. Thank you so much for the thumbs up and the hearts. And thank you for letting me into your space to share with you. Try the masking. It's super cute. And if you don't have that stamp set, you should have it. This is super cute. And the greatest thing about using stamp inks and paper, which is a SIP, Stamps Ink Paper, is that it can be any color coordination that you would like for it to be, right? You get to choose that. You get to choose it. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you have the opportunity to get crafty this weekend. If you do, use this technique. It's really fun, and it's a way to use up your stamps, inks, and paper, especially the paper that you have. But whatever you do, have fun, be safe. I'll see you next week, same place, same time. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.